All right, you asked for it. You're going to get it. This is a man whose YouTube channel is called Dare to Speak. And he's supporting Joseph Rosenbaum. Well, he's defending Joseph Rosenbaum in terms of people who are calling him evil. All right? Trying to be fair here. And he's pretty upset at me because I came down pretty hard on Joseph Rosenbaum in the past. Now, who's Joseph Rosenbaum? Well, he's the guy who attacked Kyle that night and got his ass shot off for his troubles. And of course, we all know who Kyle Rittenhouse is. And so, Dare to Speak, as I'll call him, asked me to come in, play his video, and comment on top of it. Now, I have sped up his voice by 1.5 times. It sounds okay, but at 28 minutes, it was just going to be too long. And so, hope that doesn't bother you. At least it doesn't come out all squeaky. Hello out there. I'm trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
The most common misconception that most people say or even think on people that are considered to be worthless criminals. After seeing this, I'm pretty sure that you would pretty much reevaluate and think twice about what is good and evil.
If you're trying to get me to change the opinion of the worthless criminal that stole my bass guitar when I was a youngster, you can forget it. I hope that son of a bitch rots in hell. It was an Ultravox bass with a modulus graphite neck, and it was signed by my favorite bassist, Lizard Logan. And some asshole got into my apartment and stole it. Screw that asshole. They can fry him. I actually kind of like his intro.
Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak.
Oh, so he actually goes by that name.
I have already done a couple of videos already on the victims of the shooting of Kyle Rittenhouse. I've done one on Anthony Huber. I have done, I think, 2 that I know of on Gage Grosskreutz. Possibly 3, I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 at least. And my latest one was the aftermath of the injury from his arm.
Yeah, I did a whole bunch on Gage, and I did at least 1 or 2 maybe on Anthony Huber, and I've had a few on Joseph Rosenbaum. I went over their criminal records. Those videos tend to be very long. Then I actually did one on their job prospects, and those are very short. I kid.
And there were a couple of people who said some very mean things. And I even warned people not to say, to keep your comments respectful, to be civilized with your comments. And most people, they pretty much did. But there was 1 or 2 that were very insensitive, so I had to actually delete it.
I wonder if he's talking about me. Don't think so.
And like I said, I was going to do that if someone were to be that stupid, to be insensitive and immature. Now I want to do this video on Joseph Rosenbaum. And of course, he's one of the most hated of the 3. because he's a known registered sex offender, a pedophile, and all these number of things.
How about child rapist? Throw that in there as well.
Now, regardless of what he's considered to be, I decided to do a background check on actually an investigation on his backstory. And there was a video on him by his ex-girlfriend or ex-wife, I'm not really sure which one it is.
Fiance.
And she told pretty much her story, that he was a very sweet guy. He was a good guy, but he also had issues.
Yeah, he had issues. He was a very sweet guy, but you didn't know him. There are about 5 guys out there today who got to know him, and their lives may have been ruined forever by this dude. I want to ask their opinion of him. And keep in mind, she described him as a very sweet guy, but she didn't know anything about his past. She didn't know about the child rapes. She only found that out after the shootings.
He had issues with anger. And the anger was a lot having to do with his childhood. And for those of you who don't know who, which I'm pretty sure it's pretty much obvious you know who Joseph Rosenbaum is. It's this guy.
Boy, he picked a really sweet photo of him. Must have dug around for a long time to try to find that one. Surprised you didn't have him with a graduation cap on. I kid.
And he was the one who got shot in the head. He was the first person that got shot by Kyle Rittenhouse when he chased him and tried to disarm his rifle.
Well, you didn't try to disarm his rifle. He tried to take Kyle's rifle from him, probably because he was wanting to shoot him. Or somebody else. And don't give me this crap that he was above that. You look at his past, he's quite capable of very serious violence. And there that night, he was picking for a fight. He was out of control. He was berserk. He is just the kind of person that would take a rifle from somebody and shoot somebody with it. You have no claim whatsoever that he couldn't possibly have done that. So, if I'm carrying a gun and some dude's trying to take it from me, what's the assumption I make? This guy is going to turn the gun on me. Ye who ignores that assumption will pay for it.
Because he saw him as a threat. And there's a lot of controversy around that. And of course, I'm not going to get into what really happened because it's just going to be an argument of semantics.
Okay, Joseph Rosenbaum, you're claiming, chased Kyle because he saw Kyle as a threat. There is no justification for that claim.
By Kyle Rittenhouse when he chased him and tried to disarm his rifle. Because he saw him as a threat. And there's a lot of controversy around that. And of course, I'm not going to get into what really happened because it's just going to be an argument of semantics.
Well, when you say he saw him as a threat, are you referring to Kyle seeing Joseph Rosenbaum as a threat, or are you claiming that Joseph Rosenbaum saw Kyle as a threat? If the latter, you have no basis for that claim. A lot of people are saying it, that the only reason why Joseph Rosenbaum attacked Kyle because Kyle threatened him, or he saw Kyle as a threat. No justification for that claim whatsoever. However, there is ample justification for the claim that Kyle saw a threat in Joseph Rosenbaum because Joseph Rosenbaum was trying to take his weapon from him. And he was a lunatic. He's an absolute loon. There's no way else to describe him. Oh, well, he had issues. Yeah, he had issues, all right. His issues were that he was violent, deranged, and on drugs. Those were his issues. Kyle didn't have those.
But as far as what people have been saying about him, calling him a worthless piece of shit, good riddance to this fucking pedophile.
I've never said those things.
And all these mean and hurtful things. Now, I'm not trying to defend pedophiles at all. But I am trying to defend people that do have a very, very serious problem.
I understand that one. Okay.
And people need to be educated on what pedophilia, on what pedophilia really is, other than what you already know as the obvious.
Well, I think what you're saying is people should be educated on the causes of pedophilia. All right. Let's hear you out.
And this is something that a lot of people may not want to accept because I've already done a video on this before. It was entitled, "Pedophiles Are Born That Way, Science Says."
So pedophiles are born that way. So are you saying, therefore, that a person's background, their upbringing, their family life has no basis on it? They just come out pedophiles?
This is one video that I did a long time ago that proves a point that I was making about pedophilia.
Well, it doesn't prove a point. It provides evidence for it, maybe.
About pedophiles. A truth that is very undeniable.
We don't deal in truths in science. No such thing as a truth in science. There are beliefs, there are theories, there are laws. None of those reflect truths. But I'm nitpicking. I just got into a Twitter argument over this stuff, okay? So bear with me.
And what people need to find out, what people need to realize, is in that video, it makes a great deal of sense on how people should actually view this type of subject. Now, in that video, I pretty much explained everything concerning that particular subject. And there were some people who agreed, but of course, unfortunately, there was a great deal of people who did not agree with me.
No, that's the way it goes. You put out arguments on social media, there will be people who disagree with you. Okay.
And one such person even went as far as to call me a pedophile.
Yeah, that's uncalled for. They're just trying to get under your skin. There was no need for that.
They'll say call me chomo or this kind of whatever stuff, just because of the way I explained it. And this person accused me of defending pedophiles, so just because of that, I'm considered a pedophile. Or a pedophile lover or some stupid crap like that. So I exposed that person for hateful comments and even the threats that not necessarily this person said, but other people that started to make comments and support him. And I thought it was a woman at first, but it was actually turned out to be a man. I still have it on video, because I was threatened on YouTube. That was the title of it.
Yeah, I think you go over this too much. Who cares? Somebody gone in there and yanked your chain. I have it all the time. I got one dude that just constantly changes his identity all the time. He thinks that he's really getting under my skin, but to be honest with you, I thoroughly enjoy deleting his comments from my YouTube channel. Oh well, that's the way it goes. You don't want to dwell on this kind of crap. And as far as being threatening, nobody that threatens you on social media is going to carry out anything. It's the people who don't threaten you. Those are the ones you have to worry about. But nobody knows your name. Nobody is going to hunt you down. And if they do, I hope that you have a gun on you to defend yourself. And if you do defend yourself, I hope you understand then what Kyle was going through.
Later on, after I made that video and exposed him, he was quick to apologize. And the main reason why, other than the fact that he could have, you can get in trouble when you not just insult, when you start to threaten somebody. You can't threaten somebody on YouTube. You'll get in trouble. And
lose your channel, I guess.
He pretty much said that I'm sorry and brother, this and that. And then he started to tell his backstory because he was molested as a child. And I could relate to that too, because I even made videos about my molestation when I was a kid. I was molested by my grandmother.
There are some things that I really prefer that people would just keep to themselves. It's not that I don't care, but I don't think divulging all this stuff really helps you. But that's you. You do you.
And by other people in this ritual type cult, on which some people would consider satanic ritual abuse, but it's ritual abuse.
Wait, your grandmother got you involved in some sort of satanic sexual cult or something? I'm not sure I'm reading that correctly. Whatever. None of my business.
The whole, atmosphere scenario with the animal masks and these dark cloaks and all the sex rituals and stuff like that.
Oh, holy cow. Oh, my God. Was it a goat?
I would explain that already. And now the thing is, the ones that are really considered evil, because even though my grandmother molested me and these other relatives, which I'm not going to get into right now, I don't see them as being evil because they were also victims when they were kids and they were molested. So it goes back further and further. They're just extremely screwed up in the head because of their upbringing.
Well, wait a minute. I thought science said that they came out as pedophiles and evil, but now you're claiming that they are a product of their environment. Which is it?
So what they did was evil. What they did was appalling. To me, yes. But I would not go as far as to call them or consider them evil.
What about Adolf Hitler? Was he evil, or were his actions evil? What about Stalin? Was Stalin evil? He was certainly psychotic, paranoid, cowardly. He exhibited no redeeming qualities whatsoever, and he killed millions of people. Was he evil? He's a product of his environment. Maybe he came out that way. Isn't that what science says?
I would consider them psychopathic, psychologically damaged people, emotionally damaged people. They didn't choose to be this way. It was not their fault, but the damage was done, and then they passed on that.
Now, how far are you wanting to go with this? What about a person that schemes to rip people off? Are they evil? Or is this all just a natural result of neurons firing that they have no control over? How much free will do people have? Are we ever truly responsible for our actions? Where do you draw the line? I mean, you can make an easy claim that Hitler himself was mentally deranged, especially after Dr. Morell got a hold of him. So, is he responsible for what he did? Well, I'll let you argue that.
They passed on that negativity to someone else, and they victimized somebody else. Now, I'm already pretty much over it for the most part. Not completely. You know, I'm not going to lie to you, not completely, but for the most part, I am. I'm almost completely healed from it. There's still some of that 10, 15% that's still left. Now, here's one explanation, like I said, I need to tell all of you about pedophilia that's not exactly true. There's some truth to what this woman is saying, but there's also some exaggerations that are just downright stupid.
What's the causes? Some of the causes are the need to dominate. That's why more are males. That's why a lot of pedophiles are males. Some experts say it's a psychological rather than a biological thing. Others say it's a result of being sexually abused. Some even say they never matured psychologically. What are the symptoms? Some of the symptoms that you can look for in a pedophile, they usually volunteer service at athletic teams, Boy Scouts, Girl Scout troop groups, religious and civic organizations.
This would be called stereotyping in any other setting. We're not supposed to be doing this, but if the target is an easy target, we kind of look the other way.
And just like anywhere where there's a lot of kids, like on the playground or even like in schools, they have, pedophiles working, right there with our kids, and we never know it. And so they say the onset usually occurs during adolescence. Now, in the U.S., they say about 50% of men arrested for pedophilia are married. It's scary. Treatments. Now, they say it can be treated. Some say it can. Some psychologists say it can. My personal opinion, I don't think it can be treated. Psychotherapy, but it does not have a high rate of success. Castration is also offered, but a pedophile can use a blunt object to rape a kid or rape anybody. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. If they want to kill them, they're going to kill them. They can also say female hormones are used and it's supposed to cut the urges down, but they say they can go to the black market and they can get something that can stop that. So the best thing they actually want us to do is the prevention. It's like, how do you prevent this from happening to your child?
Okay, she's throwing out a lot of claims there. She doesn't really substantiate them. I would bet probably half of what she said isn't really truly accurate.
Now, to go as far as to say castrators will not work because they're so evil, they're going to end up using some kind of blunt object to penetrate the little girl or the little boy to get their pleasures and stuff like that, and they're going to kill them, they're going to kill them. The stupidity that comes out of this woman's mouth. And to go as far as to say that there's something with the genes or hormones that can be changed, that they'll go to a black market just to get back their old feelings again or their impulses again. because they're that evil and stuff like that. The way she was explaining it was just extremely idiotic.
Was it right or wrong? I don't care about how crazy or deranged or unflattering or unappealing the arguments are. I want to know, is it right or is it wrong?
Very fucking idiotic. Now, the threat of pedophiles, in my honest opinion, is exaggerated to some degree. Yes, there's sick people out there. And even people, the ones that are the most dangerous are the ones that are, have high positions of power. Doctors, lawyers, judges, the list goes on and on. People that are rich.
Yeah, I don't want to get into a class war here. Let's face it, pedophilia is bad. Pedophilia hurts a lot of people. It shouldn't matter if the person is money or not. Okay, they might be able to get away with it, but that doesn't make their actions any less or more evil.
But because of the fact that they're more incapable of being what is considered evil because of the fact that they can get away with it because of money and positions of power. Like if a judge, for example, a federal judge was a pedophile, he could easily get away with it for so many years because of his status, compared to a ordinary Joe who works, who makes $30,000 a year, $25,000 a year, whatever.
Yeah, but the judge and all these high-powered people have a lot more to lose. I mean, they have reputations in the community that get destroyed if they are caught. So it's not all gravy for them. If you're a pedophile and you're a judge, you have to be extra careful. So I'm not certain I buy this argument, but okay.
Upper low class kind of life, there's no way he could actually get away with it. But he has a problem. And it is an illness, and it is inborn. It is genetic. Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now. It is genetic.
So we really have no control over it? Okay. If it's genetic, then that would be proven statistically. I would like to see some substantiation for that claim.
But it's easy to be a good person and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I need help. It's easy to say that when you don't have power to get away with it. But when you do have power to get away with it, you don't have to choose right or wrong. You don't give a fuck about it because you're getting away with it over and over again. You pay off people, you pay off lawyers, pay off whatever, police officers. So because of that, they say, why do I need to change?
Yeah, it's not that easy to pay off a police officer if you're a pedophile, even if you're a judge. These people in high positions of power, they struggle to keep this thing under wraps just like everybody else does. Why? Because there are more people wanting to take them down. If you're a district attorney, who's going to be on your side? The police want to take you down because they're probably miffed about half the damn cases that got dropped that they spent a lot of time working on. The judge isn't going to give a damn about you. Literally, a district attorney has nobody there that's going to support him and would love to see him taken down. So, yeah, again, I'm not buying this argument.
I'm getting away with it. I'm having the time of my life. And they traumatize these kids and all that. That's the difference between the two. Now, I do believe, regardless of what this woman says, I don't give a fuck what she says.
And if what you're saying is correct, then they're struggling to try to stop it. So the idea somehow that they're having the time of their lives, that's probably a little bit of an oversimplification. But again, I'm taking the stance of somebody who is supporting these people, or not say supporting, but understanding them, okay? If you are in that clubhouse and your stance is that these people have issues, they have sicknesses, then you can't really say that they're having the time of their lives.
Pedophilia can be cured. And no, I don't mean a bullet to the head or something stupid like that. Or killing them. I'm talking about there is a way to cure them, to make them normal again. And this is the thing. The dangers of pedophiles is real. However, the paranoia, the high level of paranoia that's exaggerated about pedophiles is even greater. And I mean greater. They exaggerate to is even greater. And I mean greater. They exaggerate to a very high degree in order to get people worked up, to turn them into some kind of self-righteous vigilantes, neighborhood watch kind of thing, and you need to whatever watch this person. In some cases, it's understandable. I don't disagree with it, but there are many times where people can get carried away. They can actually overdo it, and they think they're doing something right. And it's very hard for these people because they become a pariah. They become this outcast, and they didn't choose this. They did not choose this. Now, this is from a scientist in which I really need all of you to pay attention to, because it makes a great deal of sense, not only to me, but it should make a great deal of sense to you.
People, and it was something that was different in a way that they couldn't control. But we had no idea is this the kind of thing that...
There's also another form of therapy besides counseling and things like that that's very effective, and it's a form of DNA drugs. It's not castrators. It's something else that helps with impulse control of various types of, whether it's sexual impulse or whether it's violent impulses. People that are that was in and out of prison because they got into fights and things like that, or they used to be in a gang, or any number of things. There is another method, and it's pretty much this.
Neuroscientist Jim Fallon agrees. In fact, he believes we already have the means to do it with drugs. The big question is, can we control those behaviors that we can certain human beings? And the answer is no, yes. It depends on how far you want to go.
Okay, I don't know if this is relevant to the argument that we have between us about the culpability of Joseph Rosenbaum and his behaviors. So I'm going to go ahead and skip it.
Now, I honestly believe that this will work. And Joseph Rosenbaum, and I'm going to say this now, I don't care, he is not an evil person. He's a person who has very serious issues with this type of condition.
Now, he had past tense.
He didn't choose to be this way. He was molested as a child when he was growing up. And he couldn't control his impulses. And whatever he did, I'm pretty sure there was some exaggerations of people saying things about him in order, because of the fact that if they didn't exaggerate on him on purpose, it will make it seem that what Kyle Rittenhouse did to him was unjustified. And then Kyle will look like the bad guy. And they didn't want that. So social media and news or whatever, they pretty much had to go as far as to exaggerate on him to make him look like a worthless piece of shit who deserved to die.
Yeah, because Kyle has been extolled by everybody, right? Kyle Rittenhouse is not trashed in much the same manner. What about the white supremacist thing, huh? What about Proud Boys and Boogaloo Boys? And he went there to kill people because he's a murderous little thug. What about those kind of claims?
And that's not right. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Questions or comments, you know what to do.
Yeah, I like the video. I think he did a pretty good job. The only problem I have is, you look at Joseph Rosenbaum versus Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse took on jobs. He grew up poor. He took on jobs to help feed his family. He had a rough upbringing as well. But look what he did, taking on jobs like that, community volunteering. He wasn't out there rioting. He wasn't out there trying to cause trouble. He wasn't out there trying to get in a fight. He went there to help. Took his rifle, and he went to help a businessman keep his property from getting burned down. Now, everything I know about Kyle, and I don't know him personally, I'm not his father, okay? Kind of cut that crap. But I don't know him personally, but everything I have seen about him indicates that he has good intentions. Joseph Rosenbaum did not. And what do? We end up spending half our time trying to praise Joseph Rosenbaum and show that he's not a bad guy just because he raped a bunch of boys and just because he beat his fiancée to hell and he did drugs and didn't have a job and lived in a tent. All those things. Well, come on. He's actually a good guy deep down, very sweet. Unlike that damn Kyle Rittenhouse, that worthless white supremacist patriot Ku Klux Klan member. Yeah, You really think that Joseph Rosenbaum's got the worst of this? You are sadly mistaken. Kyle did nothing to deserve this. He went there because he wanted to help people. Yeah, maybe a little misguided, okay? Maybe a little naive. But his intentions were fine. And yet, people like you have been cutting him down, calling him a murderer, hoping he goes to prison. And in the meantime, turning around and saying, well, Joseph Rosenbaum, he's just misunderstood. It's not his fault. So how is this Kyle's fault? After all, if Kyle is a murderous, white supremacist thug, wasn't he born that way? Or wasn't he also a victim of his environment? Does he not have zero free will? Why do these arguments that you make for Joseph Rosenbaum get suspended when you're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse? Or anybody for that matter? Your arguments basically excuse any kind of bad behavior because after all, whatever neurons are firing at any kind of time are just a result of our upbringing, what's happened to us by others, or genetics. We have no control over those things. In truth, Joseph Rosenbaum, as far as I'm concerned, he can have any fantasies he wants in his head. However, as soon as he lays a finger on someone, all of a sudden I become far less sympathetic. You have troubles with impulse control? Well, you better solve that problem. And so I would be much more sympathetic to your argument if you were more understanding of Kyle. But you're not. Joseph Rosenbaum turns around, chases Kyle. Kyle's running away from him, trying to get away from him. In your mind, Joseph Rosenbaum's the good guy. And Kyle started this whole thing. If only Kyle hadn't been there, that poor Joseph Rosenbaum wouldn't have had to chase him. And it's not Joseph Rosenbaum's fault that he chased him. He just has impulse control problems. But the attitudes and the personas that Kyle was undergoing are also the marks of a 17-year-old kid. He wanted to carry the rifle with him because he wanted to belong. He wanted to be just like the 18-year-olds. And why can't you understand that? Why can't you understand the concept of community volunteering and the good feelings that you get when you think you've done something good? Why can't you understand those? You expend so much effort trying to understand why someone would rape a young boy, but when it comes to understanding why a kid would want to go out and protect other people's property, even if it's not his own, would want to go out and deliver medical aid, instead it's cast off as, oh, he's just a white supremacist. He's just out there looking for a fight, picking for an argument. Why don't you try to understand the attitudes of a typical 17-year-old kid? Screw Joseph Rosenbaum. To hell with him. I don't give a damn. Because of him, how many people have had their lives ruined? One man, he's ruined 5 adults out there. Who knows what kind of horrors they're going through. Dominique Black, because of Joseph Rosenbaum, could face years in prison. Kyle Rittenhouse may face life in prison. Gage Grosskreutz lost his right arm. Anthony Huber got shot. And why? Because of one man. Joseph Rosenbaum went out like a lunatic, chasing after somebody he shouldn't have done. So, Joseph Rosenbaum, you can have all the evil thoughts in your mind that you want, but you better not act on them. And when you act on them, you get what you deserve. Screw you. I don't feel sorry for him. That's Darwin. You do dumb things, you die. That's what happens. Like my video, subscribe to my channel. Oh, Dare to Speak, how did I do? Pretty good. I kind of let go there. That was feeling really good about it.